What's up, guys? It's a very beautiful morning here. If you don't know, of course, I'm not only in the state of Maryland, but I'm in America. And I just had some things I wanted to, I don't know, I like to make videos in the morning. I like to make videos whenever I can or want. But yeah, I feel a special importance right now to focus on some important things. And those important things are the fact that we live in America, and at least I do, and my friends and everyone I know, basically, pretty much. And I just wanted to mention about how special and sacred America is. And I just got done watching the movie The Patriot. Oh, that's a moment. I just got done watching the movie The Patriot last night for the first time. And if you know, you know. But anyway, the Patriot movie is about the Revolutionary War, and it was made in 2000. Stars Mel Gibson and Heath Ledger and Chris Cooper, and it is just such a great movie. It's a very brutal movie. It's a very realistic movie, and it's definitely not a movie for kids. It's rated R, but still, it's just especially not a good movie for kids because it is so violent, and because it shows a lot of the realistic combat and atrocities that happened during the Revolutionary War. And that's just not in the Revolutionary War, but it's in a lot of wars. Any war is horrible violence. But yeah, I just wanted to take some time this morning and talk about how we're so lucky that we live in America, in all honesty. I mean, the film has really kind of riveted me and changed me a bit. Yeah, it's really changed me and changed my perspective of things, and just made me look at things a little bit differently. And I am so thankful to be an American, and I am so thankful for our country. I'm so thankful to be born here in the United States. And we are so lucky to have the freedom that we have. Like, I woke up actually before I was going to bed last night, I remember laying down in my bed and thinking, wow, I'm laying down in my American bed with the freedom that we have, and this freedom that I enjoy, that I've had ever since I was born. The freedom, to live in America, and the freedom that means that I'm free. The freedom to do whatever I want, to be whoever I want, to work anywhere I want, kind of thing. Freedom. I'm not being persecuted, I'm not being attacked. I'm not being, we're not on the run. There isn't an army outside fighting us that we have to surrender to, or hide from, or run from, or fight. And, I mean, it sounds really cliche when you think about, or when you hear about, whenever they talk about, like, we want to thank the men and women who laid down their lives for our freedoms, and stuff like that. You hear that a lot, especially around September 11th, and Veterans Day, and things like that, but I don't think we ever really stop and think about it, really. I mean, not really. I mean, most people, most people. But we are so lucky. We're so lucky to live in America. And I just wish everyone would take a minute and think about the fact that America is it's a very special place to live. If you live in America, you're lucky and you're blessed. And this is one of the things that makes it, for the people who don't appreciate America, who just want to complain about it, and complain about this or complain about that, there's a certain degree of thankfulness that we all need to have for being here in America and living and being a United States citizen. Things like that, this is a privilege. It's a privilege to live here. You know what I mean? It's I'm not quite saying that the way I really want to say it. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to be an American. It's a blessing. It's an honor. Yeah, and it is a privilege to be an American. It is. It's something that we are lucky to be or lucky to have. But yeah, I was just thinking about that, and it's amazing. I mean, if you really, it's important to watch movies like The Patriot, and it's important to read our history, our United States history, for example. But yeah, it is so important. I've got these two flies in here; they're driving me nuts. But yeah, those kinds of things really help us to be thankful for America, and they help our perspective, because it's just, it's, if you take a look around out here, like I'm on a highway right now, that was built by Americans. I look around all these buildings that were built by Americans, and I see the beautiful farmland, the fields, the country, and the beautiful pastures and the beautiful area here. I woke up and took a bike ride down the country road next to a field full of soybeans and saw the sunrise coming up and shining on all the soybeans in the field. I get home and got to see my dogs and pet my dogs and pet my cats and eat breakfast by myself and make my breakfast and just wake up and read the scriptures. It's amazing. We are so lucky to have these kinds of things. And if you just think about it, like, you look around and we just take these kinds of things for granted so badly. But like, to see the fields and to see just the country here, and to know that we're not being persecuted, or know that there's not like this enemy. Like in the Revolutionary War, you guys, the British were here, and they were attacking everyone, and they were patrolling people, and they were trying to push us into submission. But you know what? We said no, and we stood up and we fought, and that is an amazing thing. I get kind of like patriotic chills thinking about it. But the act of standing up for your home and fighting for what you believe in, protecting your family, and fighting for your country's freedom, that's an amazing thing. And it was a miracle that the Americans beat the British in the Revolutionary War. It was a miracle, because they were so outmatched, and so the British were trained. The British were trained so much better than we were, basically, and we had to resort to tactics that were just like, we had to win any way we could, because this was our home. And we're not going quietly into the night. We're not going down without a fight, and that's what we did. We stood in there and we did everything it took to win, and we won. And Mel Gibson's character in the movie is like, he was a really good, he was an honest man. He had lost his wife. He was a soldier. He wasn't proud of some of the atrocities he'd committed in the wars and fighting before. And he had a family. I think I said his wife died, and he was a widow, or a widower, and he had like 7 children, and his oldest son enlisted, and he was like, I can't fight, I have a family. And then he realized he had no choice, and because the British came to his house, and in a scuffle they killed one of his sons, and he just saw this evil, and he saw this brutality of like this oppressive force coming forward to take your home, to take your land, to kill your family. And they burned his house, they destroyed his town, they locked a whole bunch of people in a church and burned them. They did so many horrible things. And historically, I know the British probably did a whole lot of horrible things, and I know the Americans did horrible things, brutal acts of war against the British. But it's kind of one of those things where you came to us, you invaded us, you struck first. You did not have to show up here and fight us. If you die, it's your fault. You came here, you asked for it, And the British were so cocky, and they never expected the Americans to fight back. They never expected that we would defeat them in a million years. They never even comprehended. That was never a possibility for them. They never even considered that we could do that. And did. And look at the result, not only, and we have this wonderful country to live in that so many of us take for granted every day. The wonderful things we have, our jobs, our families, our careers, our vehicles, our homes, our pets, food on our table, all these kinds of things. And in the land of the free, in the home of the brave, it's amazing. It's really amazing that we're all here. And it didn't just take the Revolutionary War for us to get here. Like, that was a big one. But I mean, there were so many things that had to happen for us to get here and have this, Shortly after the Revolutionary War, there was the War of 1812, the British again. And it was kind of a miracle that we won that one, or that they left. There wasn't really a clear winner. It was more so the war ended. There was a truce. But there's in the Civil War, like, oh my gosh, there's where we're fighting each other. It's just insane. You think about what it's insane when you think about what this country has been through, and we're still here. It's mind-boggling, and the kinds of things, world wars. It's amazing. This country's still here. We are so lucky. We are so blessed to be here, and God has never left our side. You know what I mean? He's had His hand on us as a country, and He's had a hand in our agenda, in our affairs. You think about John F. Kennedy, like the tragedy of his assassination, but the Cuban Missile Crisis, like some of the things that he did. There are situations where we could have been eradicated. We could have lost World War II. We could have been taken out. There's so many different things that could have happened that didn't happen. And they haven't happened. We're so lucky. We're so lucky that they haven't happened. And it's why we have to keep these things in mind. We can't just take all this for granted and just think that this is all a given, that we'll never have to fight for it, that it all just comes as a given, and that, this is just the way it is, and this is the way it will always be. No, this is a very special, sacred place, and we have to take care of it and protect it. And we have to be conscious of our enemies. We have to be conscious of the world. We have to be conscious of what's going on, and so that we can take care of ourselves, so that we can protect America, so we can elect the best leaders that we can, because we need it. We have to. We owe it to ourselves, our future, and our ancestors.